Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to another episode of the Sacred Femme Alchemy Podcast for our Shakti Soul Sessions series. I did not do an episode yesterday. Because I was actually speaking at the Health and Wealth Conference by a dear sister of mine named Coach Jackie. I will leave her Instagram so you can follow her and see all the amazing things that she's doing in her local community in the Bay Area as well as beyond in the US. And it was such a beautiful, beautiful opportunity to connect with so many different women. And I felt so empowered, so uplifted, and I'm just feeling as if my whole cup just felt so full, especially at a time, if you've listened to my previous episodes, when I was feeling a lot of physical pain. And I hurt my back on Thursday evening, and I was tossing and turning throughout the weekend. Luckily I was able to see an acupuncturist, a new one in my local area. And so it felt really good to see someone new to help me who specializes in the back, pain management, all of that stuff. And I was tossing and turning the night before on Saturday and wondering if I should give the keynote in person, wondering if I should give the keynote online on Zoom. And I'm really glad I ended up taking some Tylenol, felt a little better, got more juice, and was able to go in person. And boy, am I so glad I went in person, because there is nothing like being around so many people or that can be your tribe of just people who are like-minded, the community, the connection. And I feel like the word connection is just so often overused, but the level of genuine connection that was made, and the other speakers, we were all in a group chat, and I told them my back was hurting. I was unsure if I should come in person. And when I went and I saw them and I met them for the first time, face to face, eyes to eyes, they were just loving up on me, and it just felt so good. Do you ever find those people who you connect with where you don't even connect with them, but they just have this level of generosity where you instantly just are family. You don't have to prove anything. It's not, oh, what do you do for work? Or what can I get out of this relationship? No, they just gave so much love on me, hugging me. And sometimes there are people who hug you for a hot 5 seconds and they have that distance between your body and their body because they're so uncomfortable. No, these felt like just hugs from people who are part of your family who knew you since you were a little baby. And I just thought, wow, I am so inspired by them, so inspired by all of the messages that they shared. And it just touched me in such a deep way where I was uplifted, where I found myself laughing, where I found myself nodding. And it was just such a beautiful, amazing experience. And it was all because one woman chose to believe in her dream. And she spoke about sometimes we have big beliefs, if your belief doesn't cause your butthole to clench, then what are you manifesting, right? And that we can have those big beliefs and those big dreams. And this is one of her big dreams. And sometimes we're afraid of our own dreams and we think, no, we can't do that. We can't do any of that. No, who am I to show up like that? No one's going to want to come. No one's going to want to listen to me. No one's going to think I have anything to share. And so today I really want to talk about just the gift that you have. And a lot of people in my circles, regardless what kind of work you do, everyone has a certain experience that they can share to help others. And who are you to say that experience or that story isn't good enough to share? And sometimes what gets in our way is those thoughts that I just mentioned, those thoughts thinking that we're not good enough to share a certain message, those thoughts thinking that, oh, well, I don't know how to speak correctly. Or if you want to write a book, some of the thoughts can be, well, I don't know how to write. I don't know how to edit things. I don't know if it's going to make sense. Who's going to want to read it? Who's going to want to buy it? Who's going to think it's interesting? And we often doubt ourselves of our talents, of our gifts, of those experiences that we have. But I am a firm believer in the fact that you have a gift, you have a story to share. It doesn't matter who you are or what you went through. I know it's going to help someone else. And the way that I told and the topic that I shared on and the talk that I gave, the theme was how I tapped into abundance and healed money wounds through Kundalini yoga and EFT tapping. And, if you've been following me for a while, you know my story. You can go back to the last episode of season 1 of me sharing just how I was able to break through. And one of the women there, she came up to me and she said that, wow, when you were sharing, I really felt that because that's where I am today. And so you just never know who you are going to impact. You never know how your story is going to land. You never know how your story is going to resonate. And so can you get out of your own way in order to serve another? In order to know that whatever it is you're going through, whatever challenge you're going through is meant to help another person. And that's what helps me when I'm going through challenges and I'm thinking, why the F am I going through this? This is so hard right now. I can't even believe this. Why am I going through this? And I always have to remind myself that every single time that I've gone through something challenging, it's always helped another person. It's always helped someone else. And you can always share your lessons. You can pass on the things that you've learned. And that's what one of the other women spoke about, was just how when we learn, when we overcome things, we get to mentor others. We get to show them a different way. We get to take their hand and create a new path. And this isn't about, stepping into your dharma. This isn't about you leaving a job so you can be on a spiritual, podcast tour. If you have a story, share it. If you know someone's going through a hard time, share it. Whatever platform you have, whatever communities you have, because you just don't know who it can possibly help. And if there are blocks into you thinking that it can help other people, how can you learn to quiet those inner voices? How can you learn to quiet that inner judge? And how can you learn to invoke your inner mother and hype yourself up? Hype yourself up and say, yeah, you can. You can do anything. I think if anything, the elections showed me that anything is possible. Anything is possible. And that we are always in the way sometimes of our biggest dreams. Like right now, I'm trying to manifest something that makes my butthole clench. And I'm like, oh my God, is that even possible? And as I'm writing my affirmations, I'm like thinking, this is kind of big. I don't know. And I'm being honest with myself, right? And so I talked about that on the other podcast of having those bridge beliefs. And that it's okay. It's okay. That's my way of giving myself grace. That's my way of giving myself compassion. And so maybe you want to share your story on a one-to-many level someday. But then maybe right now it just makes you comfortable to share it in maybe a women's circle. Maybe it makes you comfortable to share it on, a text with a girlfriend. And then maybe you start to share it on your social. And then maybe you think, oh, I can do a podcast. Like the number one thing I hear from many people is that they want to do a podcast, but they don't know where to start. I'm recording my podcast on my phone right now, my iPhone. I'm speaking into my iPhone right now. And I have a software that helps me edit, and I upload it. But trust me, it was hard. It was hard thinking that I had something to say. I scripted a lot before. Now I just do stream of conscious talking. I'm literally on my kitchen counter right now, having some chai, talking into my phone, looking out at the window, and it's raining. But in my heart of hearts, I believe in what I do, and I believe in the power of you learning to alchemize your own pains, learning to alchemize your own wounds. For another person to feel that they can transform too. Because we can't live our own stories. We can't live our own triumphs in a vacuum. It's so important to share it. It's so important to be out in the world. And that's what yesterday taught me, of just being around other people that lift you up in that community. Because when you surround yourself with people that tell you, hey, I believe in you, even if you don't, let me help you, let me show you the way, you can handle anything. You can tackle anything. You can accomplish anything. And it's amazing what we do when we're together than when we're alone. Because there's more power in being together. There's more power in helping each other. There's no power in competition. There's no power in scarcity. There's no power in thinking, choose me instead of that person. We get more shit done. And so if you're having blocks to truly believing your own worth, to truly believing that the life that you want on every single dimension is here for you, is ready for you, if you really want to call in that next level relationship, and you're thinking, I don't know if it's possible, you have options, you have help. And if you want to dive deeper in that, you can try tapping. And right now I'm giving donation-based offerings of EFT sessions, 1 hour. You can donate however much you want to, just so you can see your own path, just so you can remove your own blocks and really step into that version that you know you're meant to be in this world. Imagine being unafraid to share your voice. Imagine being so turned on and tuned in to your own energy, your own boundaries, being unafraid to state them unapologetically, and being proud of the person you are, so that when you do enter a relationship, you don't have to worry about them choosing you. You can stand, and a lot of the women, they said 10 toes on the ground, right? With your head held high. How beautiful would that be? To be unafraid of your own power and leading with that. Knowing that you were so in love with your life and that the magnetic relationship that you're attracting just only adds more to the beauty that you've already created. And so I'd love to help you. I'm offering donation-based EFT sessions. I'm going to leave a link in the show notes for you to sign up. It's a beautiful opportunity to cross that threshold and really step into that beautiful being I know that you are, and I know you are. All right, thank you everyone. I will talk to you tomorrow. Sat Nam.